We begin this morning as the U.S. Federal Reserve rounded off this year's series of rate hikes, with its seventh one being a half percentage point interest rate increase. Although it is relatively smaller than previous supersized hikes, the Fed has signaled its intention to continue squeezing the economy next year to bring inflation under control. Our Eum Ji-young leads us off this morning.
The U.S. Federal Reserve's anti-inflation campaign isn't over, even with the seventh consecutive rate hike. At the end of its final policy gathering of the year on Wednesday, the Federal Open Market Committee announced its relatively smaller back-to-back hike in the benchmark overnight interest rates of half a percentage point. But Chairman Jerome Powell said they have more work to do in terms of price stability.
We continue to anticipate that ongoing increases will be appropriate in order to attain a stance of monetary policy that is sufficiently restrictive to return inflation to 2% over time. In addition, we're continuing the process of significantly reducing the size of our balance sheet.
Under the decision, the short-term benchmark Fed funds rate now stands at between 4.25% and 4.5%. The last four hikes were supersized at 0.75 of a percentage point each, with the cumulative raise to date being the most aggressive since the 1980s. Although Powell mentioned November's consumer price inflation, which eased more than expected, he questioned whether it'll continue to go down.
The inflation data received so far for October and November show a welcome reduction in the monthly pace of price increases. But it will take substantially more evidence to give confidence that inflation is on a sustained downward path.
The Federal Reserve projects at least an additional 75 basis points of raises in the benchmark interest rate by the end of 2023. It also forecasts a rise in unemployment and a near stalling of economic growth, adding that it'll restrain the economy enough to bring price growth under control. Eum Ji-young, Arirang News.